Hey, welcome back to LeadTV, where we talk about all things leadership to help you become the kind of leader you want to be able to get the results you need to get from your team. So, what we're going to do over the next few episodes is we're going to explore the continual coaching conversations that are so important for us to be able to coach our team to success. So, today we're going to talk all things morning huddle. Now, I get lots of questions about the morning huddle because by now I think most of us know that it's an important thing to do. The questions I'm often asked is, well, what am I meant to talk about? Like, is it all just numbers, or what do I do? Or I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again and it's getting boring. How do I lift the energy? Okay, so today I want to talk a little bit about the purpose of a morning huddle, and I want to talk you through the kinds of topics, the content you want to cover, and a couple of extra tips to get the very best results you can. So, first of all, why do we do this? Why is a morning huddle so important? So, I'm going to answer that in two ways, I think. First of all, your morning huddle is where you as the leader focus your team's attention for the day ahead and lifts their energy, ready to go, okay? Now, as the leader, we are responsible for the direction, setting the direction, and the pace. That's our expectation of standards, okay? Our processes, the level that we want everything delivered to. So as the leader, we set the expectations in terms of the direction and the pace, what we want our staff to do and the level that we want that done to. So what we've got to understand though, is that every morning our staff go through quite a challenge to get themselves up, dressed, fed, through the traffic, and arriving at work at a reasonable time. So by the time they actually make it in your front door, there's a pretty good chance that a lot of them are pretty scrambled, okay? So run this scenario. Let's say that your typical staff member stayed up a little bit too late last night because they become engrossed in a series on Netflix, okay? And they're coming up to the last few episodes and they really wanted to watch it, so they stayed up way too late. So, of course, as a result, when the alarm went off the next morning, they hit the snooze button a few too many times because they were tired. They didn't want to get up. The other thing that was meant to happen last night is they were meant to pack their lunch and they put it off. And they were meant to iron their clothes and they put it off, thinking they'd do it in the morning. But, the alarm went off, they weren't ready to get up, they hit the snooze button. By the time they finally opened one eye and looked at the clock, they got the shock of their life, bolted out of bed. Now they're really late. They've got no time to iron anything, so they're dragging whatever they can find out of the cupboard. They've probably got no time for breakfast, so they're in a shambles. They've thrown themselves into the car. They're driving through traffic. They're cursing every second car because, of course, they're running late and everyone's too slow. So by the time they set foot in your front door, where's their head at? Guys, they are all over the place a lot of the time, okay? That's just what it takes to get them to work. Now, how they are going to show up for your clients, how they're going to, perform, the level of care they're going to deliver is a direct reflection of their state of mind, how they're thinking, right? So if their mind is all over the place, can you imagine the service levels, okay? What often happens is without a good morning huddle in place, what we find, if you actually track the results, is that things like your average per client, your retail percent, your rebooking rates, all of those for the first few hours of the day, say until about 11 or 11:30, are far lower because their mind's not on the game, okay? Their head is nowhere near where it needs to be. It's still on, did I leave the iron on and did I lock the back door, okay? So it's very transactional. What are you having done today? Come to the basin, there you go. There's no expansion. Now, consultation, as we know, is all about possibilities. It's all about expanding and inspiring. They are not in the frame of mind to be doing that when their head is not in the game. So your job is to make sure you get between those clients who are so precious to your business and your staff and not let them meet until your staff are in the right frame of mind to be able to step up as the professional your client needs. Now, I also want you to think in a different way about that client visit. because for you and for your staff member particularly, that might just be your 9 a.m., right? Or your 10 o'clock color. But let's have a look at what that might be like for your client. So your client gets to come to you maybe every 5 or 6 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, okay? Now, for a lot of those clients, it's a significant investment, isn't it? They put aside quite a bit of money to be able to come and see you. And I'll guarantee you a lot of those clients are actually budgeting for that. They're putting aside money every week, okay? Putting maybe $20 or $30 aside, to be able to have the money that they need to be able to come and see you. Probably stealing it out of housekeeping. Sorry kids, it's mince this week because I need another $20 for my hair, okay? So that's what's going on. So there's a level of anticipation. They're building towards something exciting, okay? This is probably one of their very few big treats that they get to have at the moment. They could have spent that money on a new outfit, a fabulous pair of shoes, maybe a beautiful facial or a massage. Any of those things would have been wonderful, but they chose to spend it on you. So it's a big deal. And they don't get to do that again for a whole other 6-7 weeks. Okay. So if you're not on your game and they don't get that wow they're hanging out for, they leave you a bit deflated. They've got to wait another 6 or 7 weeks. So it's super important. What it might feel like to you if you're in their shoes is imagine that you've bought tickets to this amazing concert that's coming up and you had to buy them, a good couple of months ahead, and they weren't cheap. You had to spend a lot of money, right? So, you've probably been paying those off. And by the time that concert comes around, you're excited. You're counting down the days, you wake up in the morning, you think it's today, and you're super excited. And you're driving to the concert with this level of anticipation. That's what a lot of your clients will feel. So I need you to understand that whilst it's a 1 or a 2 hour appointment for you, and there are many that day, for them, it's a big deal, okay? It is kind of like, for us to do it well, it's kind of like a performance that's about to be delivered. That's the headspace we've got to be in. So I want you to think that at the start of the day, imagine yourself as like the director of a fabulous theatre production, a play or something, right? And before that curtain goes up, you got to get your actors in character, don't you? Because you can't just throw the curtain up and they wander out on stage and do whatever they feel like. It's got to be a beautifully, polished performance. So before that curtain goes up, here you are backstage with your crew, making sure that they are in the right headspace, the right mindset, they're in character, so that when that curtain goes up, bam, they go out there and they deliver a spectacular performance. That is your morning huddle, okay? So you have to get your people in character ready for when those doors open. They are the professional that your client needs them to be, okay? You can't just rely on them, bowling in the door with whatever mindset they're in. You've got to manage that, because if you manage their mindset and you manage their energy, you will also manage their performance. Okay, so let's get into what should be covered. What should be included in a morning huddle? Well, I would suggest that, of course, there's got to be an element of, planning and goal setting and performance. So I would talk about the goal or the intention for today. So that, the goal for the business is blah, or the intention for the business is this much. And this is what we've already got booked in. So use your software to find the dollar value of the work that's already booked in today and find the gap. So let's say my target today is $5,000 and I've got $3,800 already booked in. We've got a gap of $1,200 that my team collectively are going to work toward closing so that we can hit our target. Then I'd talk to each individual person. And my expectation would be that each team member arrives at that morning huddle ready to go with their report for the day filled out and their goals done. So what that means is I know my hourly rate. I know I'm going to work 7 hours today. So 7 hours by my hourly rate of whatever that is gives me my total. And we'd even break that into proportions of service and retail. So right from the start, I'm aware of the need to educate my clients, okay, separately. So once I've done the team target, I then talk to each person. I say, great, what's your plan for today? And they'll say, my plan is $1,000 or $800 or $500. Okay, great. What have you got booked? Okay, so let's say my target's 800. I've got 612 booked in. So I'm short, what's that, about 188. So here's my plan. And that's the next step. What is their plan to close the gap? If they're really on the ball and you've trained them well, what they're going to do is they will look at who they've got coming in for the day. They'll pull up the client histories and they will look for ways that they can serve. They will look for services that that client may have had done a while ago and hasn't had done recently. So they'll make a note to talk about that, refresh the client on that, and look at possibilities of whether that might be suitable today. You might look at what product, home care, that has been used in the past, hasn't been purchased for a while. Is that something that's been overlooked? We're going to be on the ball today. And if you want to really be gold medalists at this, what you'll be doing is you'll be thinking about, if I were to suggest change possibilities for this client today, what would I think about? What would I suggest? And knowing who that client is, you might do a little bit of a Google search, come up with a few photos that you want to show her, save them in a specific folder on your iPad or your phone, ready for that client to come in. So everybody knows, here's my intention, my target for the day. Here is what I've already got booked in. Here's my gap. And here is my plan to close that gap and reach my target. So that's my expectation of what everyone arrives to a morning huddle with, ready to go. So totally it's about performance, because we need a scoreboard, right? We need to know how well we're doing what we do. Scoreboard tells us that. Instant feedback on how well we are delivering all aspects of our client journey. Okay, but it's all done in a beautifully positive way. So it's about positive performance. A couple of other points. As well as just performance, I would want to maybe review anything that had happened the day before that we needed to talk about. This is a perfect opportunity. If I had noticed that, let's say there was a lack of focus yesterday on client education and home care, or on planning my client's next visit, where to next, what time frame, and let me arrange that for you, right? If there was a lack of that, those numbers dropped yesterday. My job as the manager is to make sure that a bad day doesn't become a bad week. So I've got to flip the energy, change the focus, get them back on track today. So of course, I'm going to have a short training, a game, a learning game, or something that it's going to put focus on that element, that area, so that everyone's got that front of mind ready to deliver to every single client today. Okay. Don't underestimate the importance of quick learning games. Okay. So if you've just done a big training recently on problem hair types, or, hair and scalp issues that clients face, or skin issues that clients face, and you've trained your team in what causes them, how you can resolve them, and what the ideal product solutions might be, then my learning game for the next 2 or 3 weeks might be, I would either problem solve a challenge. I might say, hey, Susie, okay, first client coming in, imagine they've got crazy, wild, frizzy curls all over the place, drives them crazy, but they've just booked in for a cut. How can you help? And what I want from Susie is to say, well, these are the issues that curly hair clients tend to face. They're going to face this, 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 and this. Here's why they happen. So here's what we're going to need to do. So I think what I'd be suggesting is da-da-da-da-da. Okay, there's a learning game. It might be product of the day. Tell me all about this, but tell me, what problem does this product solve, and who is the ideal person for it? I want them to describe the person. This is not about the product. This product contains XYZ ingredients. It's about, this is the perfect solution for that hair or scalp concern, that skin concern. Okay, problem solving. So in a nutshell, morning huddles, standing up, don't sit down. Once you sit, everyone's relaxed. Okay, they go far too long, the energy's low. So standing up, ideally either around your scoreboard. So if you've got a whiteboard with your results on it, that's a great place for a morning huddle. Maybe huddled around your computer screen with the day's schedule. That can be a great place for a morning huddle. But standing up, 5 minutes, usually no more. And it's about getting everyone focused, energy up, on the ball, ready to go to be the professionals that your clients need you to be. Okay, so guys, that's a quick snapshot of a morning huddle. What's it about? Why is it important? And what should I be talking about? If you want to be really good at these two, plan them. Like anything, like your social media, like team meetings, plan them. And what I mean by that is, think about, what are all the issues that need to be improved across the salon? What are the areas I'd love my team to focus on? And come up with a short training topic, learning topic, something about it, or a game, and plan what your morning huddle is going to be about for the next week 2 weeks. Okay. So there's so much easier when you're not driving to work thinking, what on earth am I going to talk about? Okay. So plan them, use yesterday's results to focus today's efforts and keep the energy up. So guys, I hope that's been helpful. That is all about your morning huddle. Next week, I'm going to tell you all about the night review. Hope that's been helpful. Have a great week. Bye for now.